Friends, there's never a dull moment with President Trump. In this video, we are going to analyze why he said what he did to Prime Minister Meloni and why she responded back to him. For those who don't know, President Trump, in a telephone interview with an Italian TV channel, claimed that Giorgia Meloni, the Prime Minister of Italy, begged him for a photograph and was dying to talk to him during the recently concluded G7 meeting. And he said even though he didn't need to talk to her, but he felt sorry for her. And so he obliged. Meloni immediately responded that all of this is made up, i.e., that he's lying, and neither she nor Italy would ever beg. In fact, she went on to say that Trump behaves aggressively and poorly with his allies and is always very accommodating with those who are the enemies of the West and of America, basically hitting him where it hurts. Well, there are 2 or 3 reasons for Trump to have spoken this way. The first is he loves a good fight. It makes him feel alive. And he never lets an insult go without hitting back even harder. That's his nature. And his guiding philosophy in life, something that his father taught him. He was angry with Meloni about the fact that she, like the other Europeans, did not support him in this war on Iran. That is because the Italian public, like the rest of the European public, was against this war. And we saw this in the fact that the German Chancellor, the British Prime Minister, the French Prime Minister, Spanish Prime Minister, none of the Europeans supported him in this war. In fact, most of them did not allow use of their American air bases, except with the exception of Germany. But even Germany and the UK, when they allowed the American aircraft, it was not for attack purposes. Of course, that was a fiction because you can never clearly determine what is for defensive purposes and what is for attack. So Meloni too denied him use of the air bases that the Americans have in Italy. Before that, she had opposed Trump's criticism of the Pope. Trump had hit back that the Pope is soft on crime and does not know much about foreign policy and is poor in foreign affairs. That was again because the Pope had criticized Trump and America. Actually, the serious cracks in the relationship had started appearing well before this, especially when Trump started making aggressive statements and moves towards Greenland and Denmark. Slowly, most Europeans had had enough of him. If you recall, the German Chancellor had also said that it is sad to see a great country like America being humiliated by Iran. If you recall, Macron had also hit back, and so had Britain's Keir Starmer. Meloni had been special. She is the head of a right-wing government. She was the only one among the leaders of Europe who had gone for Trump's inauguration, but Trump characteristically had hit back after Meloni's criticism or defense of the Pope, saying that she lacked courage and he thought she was brave earlier, but he doesn't anymore. Well, the reason Meloni has hit back harder this time, and so have the other European leaders, lies in the public opinion surveys of Europe. For example, YouGov reports that 86% of Italians, 87% of Germans have a negative view of Trump. Similarly, 86% of Brits and over 94% of Danes have a negative view of Trump. Many of them actually perceive Trump and the US as their enemies because over the last 1 year, Trump and his administration have been interfering in European politics by supporting the extreme right and criticizing European liberals. Trump and the Americans have made aggressive moves on Greenland. They have heavily criticized Ukraine and supported Russia. They humiliated Zelensky and have been withdrawing support from the Ukraine war. To add to that are the tariff threats and the threats of removal of American troops, aircraft, ships, etc. Possibly American withdrawal from NATO itself, which has made the Europeans see America more like an enemy. In survey after survey, over 50 and in some cases over 60% of Europeans see America as an enemy. Meloni is a very smart politician. That's why she has survived over 4 years as Prime Minister in Italy, which is a record. She's the second longest serving Italian Prime Minister. Most Prime Ministers don't last more than a year or two in Italy. She knows what will sell with her public and the general European audience. Had Trump not been so unpopular, had he been still politically powerful also internationally and domestically within the United States, Meloni would have just laughed this off, saying it's nothing, it was a joke. But the astute politician that she is, she immediately responded back. And I can bet you that her popularity is on the upswing. So this set goes to Meloni, but let's see who wins the match. Keep watching, more is to follow.